Welcome everyone to the Urantia Book. You are a powerhouse, a lighthouse, and a pioneer. Simply because of the fact that you clicked on this video, you are showing the universe where your mind is at, where your heart is at, what you want to dwell on. You want to advance in the universe. You are ready for the next unfolding of truth because you have already realized that as you pursue these things, life becomes better, negativity drops away. You can brush off those problems and ills of the world because you are assured that spirituality is indeed the answer. It doesn't matter which particular path you are coming from, but we know that eventually the path leads towards deity and divinity. That is the combination of both the Eastern understanding of deity, all-pervasive, Atman, or maybe even what they would call Shiva, and the Western understanding of deity, God the Father. In fact, the Urantia Book teaches it is both. And as we pursue that, we experience more of the glory, the goodness. And it is an unending journey, folks. We're talking about eternity. So we are activating the next phase of our experience right now, today. We are going to look at the teachings of Sadhguru, and then we are going to move beyond them. Because a wise man or woman lives by what truth they can find today, and they are wholly ready to call it falsehood tomorrow. So Sadhguru is not the end-all be-all. The Urantia Book is not the end-all be-all, and it even teaches that it is not. It says that revelation is never definitive. The Spirit of Truth is living, and it is within you, folks. So this is just a means to an end. All of this whole video, everything. Eventually, you have to go within, and you have to find that end within you, which is your fragment of deity and divinity, your spirit, okay? But that is just a beginning in and of itself, because again, we're talking about eternity. So let's look first at Sadhguru's quote. Remember, we're continuing from part 2 of yesterday. We talked about this quote, but we're going to add his missing key to his statement. And this is how we're going to upstep and activate our path to the absolute next level. If you believe there is God, this is his quote when asked if God exists. If you believe there is God or you believe there is no God, then you are in the same boat. You believe something that you do not know. So he's equating both of these as being in the same boat because from his perspective, it's just each something that you do not know. But the Urantia Book adds a nuance to this, and this is why you can activate this today in this very moment. Because when you take the leap of faith, or belief, it really goes from belief to faith to knowing, but people use that phrase, leap of faith. When you take that leap of faith, you instantly find that the universe starts harmonizing around you. When you take that wholehearted, I'm going to now believe in God. I'm going to begin my belief journey in God. I'm jumping in. I've tried it my own way, and it just seems to not be working. Okay, God, what have you got out there for me? Show me the way. Show me the path. When you do that, and then the universe starts harmonizing around you, you now even have the strength to do things like get rid of addictions that you've had for many years. And in fact, that's why in AA, which is a successful program to take people to lessen the alcoholic in people, they teach that this submission of the will, or this idea that you are going to submit your will to God or a higher power, is essential to the progress in letting go of that addiction. And indeed it is. And that's why that program has been very successful. You can have these superhuman understandings of values and these superhuman unlocking of abilities within you. Remember, God, the fragment within you, to brush these addictions aside, to have a better life. But it doesn't mean becoming fanatical and going off the deep end. It means well-balanced, well-poised judgment. Harmony. So let's look at the Urantia Book and see how this will advance the teachings of Sadhguru and instantly allow us to experience more harmony in the universe from taking this thing called a leap of faith. Okay. Although this is page 1123 for people following along. Although the establishment of the fact of belief is not equivalent to the establishing the fact of that which is believed. So let's break that down a little bit because it gets a little complicated. But this establishment of the fact of belief, that is what you can experience today when you begin your faith journey. You will begin this harmony of the universe. It's not always going to be roses and that sort of thing. But whenever these trials and tribulations come up, then your belief will be the thing that guides you through. And you will experience that fact that this belief is truly the path towards attaining God. So that's why they're calling that the establishment of the fact of belief. And that's not the same as the establishing of the fact of that which is believed. So that's saying you're not going to instantly attain godhood by beginning on this path, but that is an eternity event. You know, the Urantia Book teaches it's a progression of many worlds and many lives, all more glorious than the last, unlike reincarnation, which is redoing this lowly planet over and over and over again. Okay, so that's a breaking of the shackles right there. Okay, you haven't attained godhood, but you've attained, and that's why this is not the same boat. Because when you believe that there is a God, you're in a different boat. You're on this factual path towards universe attainment, God attainment, right? Okay, now this is good. Let's continue on. Nevertheless, the evolutionary progression of simple life, meaning like a single-celled organism, to the status of personality, does demonstrate the fact of the existence of the potential of personality to start with. So basically that's saying the blueprint for the tree is contained within the seed. Okay, and you can observe that when you observe the whole entire progress. You'll say, oh wow, well we know that blueprint is within the seed. And in the time universes, which is what we are living in right now, this is a time universe of space, potential is always supreme over the actual. So that's why they're not in the same boat again, because that person, it's revealing to us that potential is supreme over the actual. And we'll read on. In the evolving cosmos, the potential is what is to be. And what is to be is the unfolding of the purposive mandates of deity. So they're saying God is a reality, the universe is a reality, we've attained it, we know this, so we're revealing this to you as advanced spiritual beings. And it's like if a child was to jump into the water and the father, for the first time, the father was in the water saying, you can jump, you can jump, you can do it. The father is assured of that fact of jumping is the path. He knows that. The child has to jump. He has to take that leap of faith. But as soon as he does, then he realizes, oh, okay, I see. Yeah, no, I could have hung my hat on that. Even when you were saying, I could have trust in revelation. And that's what this is. This is an advanced being revealing things to us. And just because we haven't... See, that's this... Well, we'll get into that another time. That's Urantia Moda, but we'll learn about it then another time. The same purposive supremacy is shown in the evolution of mind ideation when primitive animal fear is transmuted into the constantly deepening reverence for God. So that's that primitive fear-based religion, and into increasing awe of the universe. Primitive man had more religious fear than faith, and we know that from even when we look at our Christianity. It's an evolutionary religion. It had evolutionary origins because of this fear aspect with it, right? Whereas this is a revealed religion where it's saying we love God, We strive to know God through love, not out of fear of fire and brimstone and all of that. And the supremacy of spirit potentials over mind actuals is demonstrated when this craven fear is translated into living faith in spiritual realities. All right, you're going to demonstrate to that yourself right away. You don't have to attain God until you realize that this path is the way that it goes. All right, so now let's do a real kind of clear look at a path, and we're going to compare this with some Sadhguru teachings. So forgive my real high-quality presentation, but it'll work. So his quote was, "If you say that you do not know, the longing to know will arise in you." So this is why he's saying, this is why he teaches this thing about them being in the same boat. Because he wants you to realize that you don't know. So that's why he's saying belief isn't good, is what he's saying. He's doubting belief. If the longing arises, then the seeking arises. Okay, so that's a good thing, right? You want to seek. You want to continuously seek. And then he says, if the seeking arises, then the possibility of knowing exists. So is he hinting at belief there? I'm not sure. It's not very clear. What is this possibility of knowing? Is that me having a belief? Is a possibility a belief? It's very unclear. But the Urantia book clears that up, so that's good. It clears it up by saying it really truly is belief to faith to knowing, and you will have these knowing experiences along the way, which will confirm to you that belief is a reality. It's the objective reality of the path in the universe. But I can see where Sadhguru is coming from, because he's reacting to these primitive, fear-based religions, and he's saying that those people are closed-minded. And he's wanting them to admit that they don't know. So level 1 here is being closed-minded, even if that's in a religion or anything like that, okay? Even if that's in the Urantia book. The Urantia book teaches that it's that revelation is never definitive, and you're going to move beyond the book at some point. Revelation is an unending thing, okay? So it's teaching that, so you can hang your hat on the Urantia book, because eventually you're going to move beyond it. So, okay, now level 2, he's saying that you want to break down that closed-mindedness by saying that you do not know, right? And now level 2 is you're open-minded but on the fence. You don't know if you want to jump in or not. Level 3 is you actually jump in and take a leap of faith. And this is where Sadhguru kind of just breaks down here. He's calling this the possibility of knowing exists, right? The longing arises, the seeking arises, right? But now, when you actually activate this with this faith fact, that faith is the path to knowing God, that's why that's not an oxymoron. Because like the book said, you're not attaining God. You're not attaining God fact. You're attaining that faith fact. That's the path. Okay? And then level 5, increased attainment of God consciousness through self-mastery. So now, this is where we go beyond Christianity. Because Christianity is teaching it's just faith in heaven. Boom. But this is saying, no, you have to continuously do self-mastery, is what the book points out, to attain world after world or life after life. Yes, faith is the process of granting eternity or attaining eternity, to then relax and flow in this self-mastery at your own pace, right? So you can even begin that right now. You have eternity right now if you begin this faith. But wouldn't you rather get on with it? Because when you don't, you're just going to experience more of this mundane difficulties and problems. We're trying to use self-mastery to ascend beyond them. And then level 6, having a God-knowing experience. They don't teach these levels in the Urantia book, like blah, blah, blah. You know, this is me just synthesizing this with the Sadhguru thing. Having a God-knowing experience. Then, eventually, folks, as you keep continuing your mastery, you're going to have experiences that prove to beyond a shadow of a doubt that you've attained God. You're going to feel it. You're going to experience it. And then it's really not going to be a faith walk anymore. Okay? So those are just a few pointers and few things to keep into consideration. Don't get crystallized in Sadhguru. Don't turn him into a religion and think that you're in the same boat here, because you're not. You're not in the same boat. And if you saw his interview with Joe Rogan, he was actually kind of did a little bit of mental gymnastics. This was recent, and you can look this up. He asked him about Shiva, and he was explaining to Joe Rogan, Shiva was the first yogi. Okay, he very ancient being, very advanced ancient man. He's saying, who was 8 foot tall. And Joe Rogan said, well, how do they know he was 8 foot tall? And he said, well, they handed that tradition down from generation to generation. And Joe Rogan says, well, don't you think that because he's all about, trying to pin people down and get at the truth. And he said, well, don't you think they could have exaggerated that in order to make him larger than life so that people would believe it and that sort of thing? And Sadhguru just says no. But he doesn't explain that he has to first approach that from belief before he can know it. Maybe Sadhguru does know that. I don't know. I'm not in the business of telling Sadhguru what he knows or what he doesn't know. Maybe he can with assurance say that Shiva is a reality, that this man was a reality. But he has to be able to say how he arrived at that. Whereas we, sons and daughters of God, are very clear on how we arrive at things. We take the leap of faith. And it might be beyond logic and reason why this works in the universe. And in fact, it is, because you can't write a theorem about convincing everybody to take a leap of faith with purely using logic and reason in theorems, because it's supposed to be beyond that for a reason. This has to carry you from world after world until you eventually have this ultimate attainment. And even then, it's still just beginning, folks, because we're talking about eternity here, So this faith is going to be an important thing throughout the entirety of the universe, moving to levels that are beyond man's logic. But when you attain them, then you can find that they're altogether logical and reasonable. And you can reach your hand down towards a being who hasn't and say, this is the way. Don't be crystallized. Take the teachings of Sadhguru. Don't be crystallized and closed-minded. But eventually you'll find that faith is the objective reality, the objective path that's not open to a person's interpretation. And when you attain that, you can assuredly go forth and pronounce that. Okay, folks. Thanks a lot to everybody who's liking, subscribing, all that. Let's keep the ball rolling. Community's going really well. I appreciate everybody's comments, questions. And if you have questions, let me know.